Iran's powerful quasi-military Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or IRGC, has unveiled what it says is a new combination anti-tank and short-range surface-to-air missile. The weapon is somewhat confusing, called the Azarakhsh, a Farsi word that variously translates to lightning, thunder, and thunderbolt, which is also the name the Iran Aircraft Manufacturing Industrial Company gave to a locally produced modification to or derivative of the Northrop F-5E Tiger II jet combat aircraft. The IRGC says it will arm helicopters and ground-based launchers with the weapon, but did not offer any additional information. It's not clear how much of the Azarakhsh is new, and how much the IRGC may have taken from older AIM-9 missiles, either directly or in basic design. Though the missile on display had a new, bare metal front end, which typically houses the seeker and warhead, the control fins appeared to be identical to those on the AIM-9J, N, and P models. The rest of the weapon looks entirely the same as a standard Sidewinder. The Azarakhsh missile weighs about 155 pounds, is approximately 122 inches long, has a top speed of 1,230 miles per hour, and a range of just greater than 6 miles. If those figures are accurate, this would make it lighter, but longer than the AIM-9J, N, or P models, as well slower and with a shorter range than those air-to-air weapons. The IRGC said the missile had a thermographic guidance method, which could mean an infrared homing system similar to the original Sidewinder, or a seeker more akin to weapons such as the M65 Maverick missile, whereby the operator can see through the camera in the weapon's nose to find and lock on to the target. Either way, the seeker does appear to be different from the one on the original missile, which would make sense since those systems would be nearly 40 years old at the very youngest, and could easily be unsupportable if they're still functional at all. Depending on the exact sensitivity of the system, it could have some capability to engage relatively low or slow-flying aircraft, such as helicopters or small drones, and vehicles that give off a suitable heat signature. The IRGC did not claim the missile had any additional features to defeat defensive systems, such as decoy flares or directional infrared countermeasures, that could make it more capable in an anti-aircraft role. The Iranian news reports did not give any information about the Azarakhsh's warhead, but it's difficult to develop a system that is equally effective against both armored and aerial targets. It is possible that the weapon has a dual-purpose configuration that includes a shaped charge to defeat armor with a surrounding layer that breaks apart into deadly shrapnel in order to damage less well-protected targets, but this would still be most useful in an air-to-ground role. Using the Sidewinder as the basis for Azarakhsh makes a certain amount of sense, though. The Sidewinder has long presented a platform that could be adapted to more roles than just air-to-air combat. In the 1960s, the U.S. Navy explored turning the missiles into air-to-ground weapons, resulting in the AIM-87A Focus. Then, in the 1980s, the service modified a number of AIM-9C semi-active radar homing variants into AIM-122A sidearm anti-radiation missiles to destroy enemy radars on the ground. These displays are meant to communicate that Iran continues to advance its military capabilities in spite of sanctions and threats from opponents, such as the United States and Israel. Observers often note that many of the more high-tech weapons the country presents to the public are clearly of dubious capability, if it appears that they work at all. That being said, Iran has proven it has a defense industrial base that can produce at least dated but workable weapon systems. Though it does not appear to have any of the advanced features of its American predecessor, the Iranians did build a flyable drone based on the shape of the RQ-170 Sentinel stealthy unmanned aircraft and send it into Israeli territory from a base in Syria, touching off a brief skirmish, in which Syrian air defenders managed to shoot down an Israeli Air Force F-16I multi-role fighter jet. It remains to be seen whether the Azarakhsh turns out to be anything other than a prop, but as the United States has already shown itself, the Sidewinder can definitely serve as a good starting point for new missiles Iran.